Hey, I'm Angie, and this is DIY Homesteading with Missouri River Regional Library. Welcome to my mom's kitchen for another edition. Today, it's almost Christmas time. I know, 2020 has flown by, and I was in the mood to make some cookies for the holidays. Now, is that really homesteading? Sure, homemade cookies are definitely part of homesteading. You can't homestead without sweets. One of my favorite cookies is a shortbread cookie because it is so versatile. You can make it savory, you can make it sweet, you can do a lot of things. You just have the basic base of a shortbread cookie and then you add stuff to it. Now, secret fact, if I could only choose one cookie for the rest of my life, it would not be shortbread, it would probably be peanut butter. But shortbreads are a fast second because they're so versatile. So I have made a couple of different kinds of shortbreads over the years, and I find that I like the strange flavors the best. I'm gonna make a traditional one for you guys today. We're gonna do chocolate chip, but I've also made savory ones like rosemary. I have a lemon lavender one. My all-time favorite is probably an Earl Grey tea one. Sounds weird, it's delicious. So what do you need for shortbreads? 3 basic ingredients. You need 2 cups of flour, 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, and then 2 sticks of butter. That's it. That's your basic shortbread recipe. Now, if you go online, if you Pinterest or something and you look up shortbread recipes, you will find some variations on this. You'll find 1 3/4 cup of flour. You'll find 1 cup of sugar. It just depends. I like this basic recipe because it's easy to remember and it gives you a nice moist dough so you can add anything. But follow your recipe if you want. If you've watched other of my videos, you know I don't take recipe directions very well. I really don't. They're just suggestions and I modify all the time. But this is an actual recipe that I have followed and I've added things to it. So you can do this with a stand mixer, with a hand mixer. I'm gonna use a food processor because it's easy. You know me, easy is best. So to use the food processor, you want the mixing blade. You don't want the chopping blade. That just won't do much. And you're gonna cream your butter and sugar first. So we're going to put our butter into the mixer, and then we're gonna pour the sugar in there as well. Now, if you have a stand mixer, it's gonna work exactly the same way. I would love to have a stand mixer. I don't have room for it in my tiny little house, but that's on my wish list for the future. A handheld mixer, you would just do this with your beaters and get it all nice and creamy. So the goal here is to mix our butter and sugar together into a nice creamy mixture. So let's do that. All right. So that was really loud and it takes a minute, but if you see, now we have a nice creamed butter sugar mixture. Okay. It does work best if you have your butter cold. Don't do room temperature butter. You'll have a grainier mixture and it still works, but it works better if it's cold. Then we're gonna put our flour in. I'm just gonna dump that in. And then we're gonna mix again. The other thing I like about shortbreads is this is so fast for the mixing part of it. You will see we are almost there. We just want the flour and sugar incorporated. And you will think that this is a really weird cookie dough. You'll be like, it looks grainy and it doesn't look super moist. I mean, it's powdery. That's okay though, because it's gonna look like this. Yep. So, all right, so we're all mixed up and you will see it does look a little powdery and grainy, but it is good, I swear. I wouldn't steer you wrong on this. I'm gonna pull the blade out of here. Now, you can use the blade to put your chocolate chips in, but I think it works just as well to stir it because you might cut them up and you don't want broken chocolate chips. You will see that I am using mini chips. They're little tiny ones, so they're smaller than your regular chips. And I like these because shortbreads are a little smaller cookies. So I'm putting a 3/4 cup of chocolate chips in there. Is that a lot of chocolate chips? Maybe. Did anyone ever say there's too much chocolate? No, nah. So then we're just going to stir this up in there and get our chocolate chips incorporated into our batter. In fact, I think it needs just a couple more. Another handful of chocolate chips. That doesn't look very chocolatey. Let's just put a little bit more in there. So maybe it's a cup of chocolate chips instead of 3/4 cup. I think that's a better ratio. Okay, so get it all the way down here to the bottom. Get it stirred up. And then you're like, wow, that's a weird looking cookie. Yes, it is. What are we gonna do with this? I told you that shortbreads are fast. You can see it was like 5 minutes. We're done making the dough. However, they need to chill. They're kind of like sugar cookies in that they need to chill and then you bake them. So I have a saran wrap piece here and hopefully not too messily. I'm going to pour this dough as my mom trips over the dog who is just conveniently laying right there in the middle of the floor. Okay, oops, there we go. I know, it looks weird. You're saying, Angie, that just does not look like cookie dough. I promise, it will be delicious. Okay, oh, I can't get it out. This spatula is not the best spatula. There we go. All right. Looks weird. It isn't. It will come together. So what you do is you use your plastic wrap to smush it together and it will form a log. And hopefully you did a long enough saran wrap log that it will work. Now, some shortbread recipes tell you to put the dough in a pan, like flatten it out. Others tell you to roll it in a log like this. Still others will have you cut them out with cookie cutters, like roll it out flat and cut it out with cookie cutters if you want certain shapes. All of those are completely up to you. I find I like the round roll the best. And so that's what I do. And it's fun because if you were ever, when you were a kid and you did the snakes, you know, with Play-Doh or pie crust or something like that, that's basically what you do with this. You just roll it. You roll it, you smush it together, and you get it into a log. And however fat your log is, that's how big your cookies are going to be. So if you want tiny little cookies, you make a small log. If you want big fat cookies, you do a big log. Okay, and then 2 hours later, sorry, I have a batch in the oven ready. I thought the timing would be better. Oh, it's not. So this is lemon lavender shortbread cookies. It has been in the fridge since last night, and I used the same basic recipe, but it has edible lavender flowers, lemon zest, and lemon juice. So the zest and the juice from one lemon is what is in here. It actually smells so very, very good. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to slice this. So all you do, and you slice it however thick you want your cookie. So if you want a very thin cookie, maybe you make like a little thin slice like that. If you want a really fat cookie, maybe you do a cookie slice like that. Hopefully you do them all the same. And hopefully your log is fairly uniform in width. My one that's in the oven, which is a rosemary, was not completely uniform. This one looks much better. But all you do is you just slice it. And then we are going to bake these for about 15 to 20 minutes in a 325 degree oven. And You want to keep an eye on them because shortbreads are usually a paler color and you don't want them to get too dark. That's it. I'm going to slice these up, put them on parchment paper, put them in the oven, and then we'll have some shortbreads. Okay, so we made the chocolate chip shortbreads. Now we need to make my favorite kind, Earl Grey. I have this loose tea. I just got it at Gerb's. It's Lavender Earl Grey. I haven't actually ever drank this as tea. I have baked with it and it's almost gone. So this will probably use up all my Lavender Earl Grey tea. And we're gonna make what is called a London fog shortbread. Works just the same as the other ones. You know, just like our lemon lavender and our rosemary behind us, we are going to cream our butter and sugar. Then we're gonna add the flour. Then we add the tea and just mix it all together. So let's get that done. I've got the butter in there. Here's the sugar. I'm gonna make some noise again. Okay, now I'm gonna pour the flour in and we're gonna make a little bit more noise. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and put the tea in with the flour so we make less noise. So this is probably about half a cup of tea and I think that'll be perfect. There you go, not measuring things again. Angie's baking rules, don't measure. Recipes are just guidelines. I don't know where I'm steering you guys, but it might be wrong. Let's see. All right, so our Earl Grey tea mixture is all mixed up. And we're gonna do the same thing we did with the chocolate chip. We're gonna put it on the saran wrap, the cling wrap, and roll it into a log so we can chill it. Now, this is the messy part. So if you have kids helping you with this, you probably want to maybe do this on a pan, put a cookie sheet out and put your cling wrap on the cookie sheet so maybe it doesn't go everywhere. I don't know if I'm any neater than a child, but I'm probably just as messy. Okay. Let's see. You can see the tea is all incorporated in there. Looks so lovely. It also smells very good. I like the smell of Earl Grey tea and lavender. If you couldn't tell by the fact that I've done 2 lavender shortbreads, is one of my favorites. It's easy to come by too. The edible lavender I bought for the lemon lavender one, I just found on Amazon. You could get it on any kind of specialty food store, probably. I know this is my second batch of lavender I've had, and hopefully I get to use it quite a bit. I also had a recipe, because all my baking adventures kind of started from the Great British Bake Off. Have you guys watched that? If not, you should. They do a lot of fun baking on that show, and they use ingredients that we don't necessarily use here very often. So it's kind of fun to experiment with new things, and making cookies out of tea is a fun experiment. I never had them growing up. I bet you didn't either. But okay, so now we have our Earl Grey lavender log ready to go in the fridge. Needs to chill because you do want this to set up. It is way too loose. If I tried to slice this right now, it would just fall apart. But if you let it sit there, see, it fell apart a little bit right there. You let it sit there in the fridge for anywhere from 2 to 24 hours. The rosemary and the lemon lavender ones, I did those last night, and so they've been in the fridge for 24 hours or so. I'll probably bake up this one in the chocolate chips in a couple hours so that they're done. And then that's it. You can put whatever you want in your shortbreads. I have done them with crystallized ginger. That's a fun one. It gives it a little spice. I've done kind of a toffee caramel thing. I've dipped them in chocolate before. That was a fun thing to do. Yeah, I have one that is herby, so it has like oregano and marjoram and thyme in it. I haven't made that one yet, but I've eaten it and it's good. I have the recipe to try sometime, but I hope you experiment with some shortbread cookies. Like I said, they're really easy and versatile. You can do whatever. My mom just showed me a recipe for Christmas ones where you divide your dough into 3, color 1 green, 1 red, leave 1 plain, and then you mix it back up together so it looks holiday-like. Give that one a whirl. Should be tasty. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this edition of DIY Homesteading from Missouri River Regional Library. I'm Angie, coming to you from my mom's kitchen because mine's too small, and we will see you again next month.